Okay, let's talk Nvidia. Let's break down the charts, what I'm doing, what I did literally just yesterday, and we'll go over what I'm doing overall again, my thoughts, and kind of how we're looking on the charts here. So hit the like button. Do not forget to subscribe, follow along for more content, and take a sip of your coffee. Well, I don't know what time you're watching this video, but it's currently in the middle of the day, so I still got my coffee on deck. But if you're watching this at night, I guess you can't drink your coffee. But either way, cheers, guys. Let's get into it. We are now up about 1.5% on the day, and I want to just go over again what I did yesterday and overall where we could be going on this stock in the short term. We'll break down the indexes as well, go over some thoughts there. So let's just dive into it. At this point, Nvidia is trading at $98.45. We're up around 1.5%-2% on the day, and that's with a decent drop here intraday. We almost got back over, believe it or not, $100 a share today. We got the 99.80 at least as of this video, and now we're at 98.30. So we are down a little bit intraday, but still we're up 1.5%, looking pretty decent here. And if I pull up the 5-day 5-minute, you're noticing it hasn't been a pretty last couple of days since obviously H20 is now restricted in China. That's going to cause about $16 billion of a hit to Nvidia's top line. Not ideal by any means, right? But it's part of this now trade war, trade battle, whatever you want to call it. Chips are involved, which we thought initially they weren't, but hey, now chips are, being restricted. AMD stock was hurting, still is. Nvidia stock obviously is hurting. We can see that. So it's down a good chunk in the last couple of days alone on this 5-day 5-minute chart. And on this 30-minute chart, you can see we're down from 116 to about $98 a share. So we're down 15% roughly. And you can see now we're starting to break into these gaps on the downside. We can see we broke through $100, and I told you guys, look, if we break through 100, we're going to be slipping potentially down to $93 to $95 a share. And that's pretty much what we did, didn't we? I mean, we got down to $94, $95. That was yesterday, right? Now we're getting a bit of a relief rally, okay, but we're still in this gap, and we got down to pretty much the level we talked about. So this is where we are now, and coming up next, potentially, depending on how things go, obviously, a few factors here, but this is where we could be going next. Down at $83 to $85 a share, which that was the low from earlier this month. When things got really ugly earlier in April, when things were getting really ugly, volatility through the roof, panic selling, we got down to $83 on Nvidia, and this chart shows it even better. $83 on Nvidia, and that's where we could be going next. If things get uglier, if more restrictions come in, the trade war gets worse, the indexes start crashing again, ugly, if that happens, we might be going down to 83 to 85 bucks. On the first drop off, we got the first drop off. We got down to 95, 93, but again, the second drop would be down to 83 to 85. Then after that, man, if we got really ugly, which I don't know, I'm not too convinced we're going to get a full-on, full-blown market apocalypse. But if things get really bad, who knows? Maybe we start going for the lows from about a year ago. I'm not sure if you guys knew this, but Nvidia was trading in the mid 70s. Maybe that's where we start going. That could be the next gap to fill, but that's if we break 93 back to the 80s, go all the way to the low 80s, and then break that as well. We'll see. Baby steps. Time will tell, but as of now, guys, I'm not too convinced we're going to do that. I'm not saying max pain is priced in yet either, but I don't know. I think 80 could be the lowest we go in the very short term, but you never really know. So I bought more shares yesterday. I bought more shares on the drop in the morning. We can see here Nvidia, like I said, we hit 95 bucks at one point. That was at about 2:15 p.m. East Coast time, but I actually bought the shares on this morning drop off. We got to the mid 95s. I bought right before we got to the 95s. I think I bought in the very low 96s. Either way, I got in on some more shares at $96, we'll say roughly. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Under $100, I'm looking to really build the position up. Over 100, 105, 110, that's a decent buy price as well, I think. But it really gets good in the 80s, 90s. So I'm doing everything I can do to not make it too crazy of a position, but to buy a reasonable amount, to where once we start getting deals, once we start getting, the market to really start rebounding, Nvidia is going to be looking pretty, guys. It's going to be looking pretty. But yeah, I bought more at $96. And obviously, if we fall into this window between 83, 84, up to about $92 to $93, I'm going to be buying a ton more. That's going to be another window where I'm going to be buying a bunch. So what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Run the likes up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Follow along for more. I appreciate all of your support as always. And let me show you AMD, because AMD is another holding of mine, and it has not been looking pretty. I haven't bought any in the last I think in the last week to 10 days. I have to double check, but I did buy at one point during the early April crash. I was buying there, and I forget if it was in the high 70s, super low 80s. Either way, AMD is getting hit as well now. Their revenue is going to get hit. The bottom line is going to get hit because of their H20 equivalent chip. I forget the exact name, but that's also being restricted, if you will. So not the best news for AMD, but it wasn't bad enough news to actually push it under the low from earlier in April, which is a good sign for now. Same thing with Nvidia. It's not like this news we got with their chips getting restricted, it didn't completely cripple the stock. At least right now, some would argue. Some are going to argue, oh, wait till the numbers come out in a couple of quarters. That's when it's going to get hit. But a lot of that's going to be priced in already by then. Either way, whatever. You could argue the fact that that news didn't get us under the lows from earlier in April, that's a great sign overall. And I would make that argument. That's a good sign that not a bottom is in, but the fact that we're already at super cheap prices, maybe not super cheap, but we're at a good level price-wise, where news like that's not going to, completely just drop the bottom out of the stock, if that makes any sense. So AMD is one I'm watching. I'm in it. Same with Nvidia, obviously. And yeah, man, overall today, the market is bouncing back. We covered that a lot throughout the day today in other videos, but we're looking pretty good, up around 2% across the board. The VIX is down about 5-6%. We're in pretty good shape as of now, and we'll see overall how the rest of the day plays out. So make sure to subscribe, follow along for more content, hit the like button, join that free email stock newsletter. I send out my top stocks weekly, again, for free. That is linked down below. And with that being said, cheers. I'll catch you all in the next video.